Whether it's at work, school, or maybe a holiday gathering, we've all found ourselves in situations where we've been forced to interact with people we might call difficult.
Yes, and that's in quotation marks. We need to figure out what that difficult means. I mean, it can even be hard to deal with someone you don't even know on social media. For one Marine Corps vet, though, and public speaker, he says the best way to handle difficult people is with mental toughness.
I like this. We're all very excited about this. Joining us now, Eric Rittmeyer, who's also an emotional intelligence expert, and he is here to share some of his mental toughness secrets. I mean, we were talking during the break. I feel like we could do an entire 2 hours with
coverage.
you. Yes.
We absolutely could.
First of all, what is mental toughness?
Mental toughness, there's lots of misconceptions about mental toughness. People think that it's like physical attributes, like riding 3,100 miles, like Mike just said. And part of it is that, but it's mainly emotional control. People cannot control their emotions, and unfortunately, when you allow your emotions to get the best of you, it ends in bad situations, especially in your business life. So what we see in the current political environment, you can see that emotions overrun everything, and unfortunately, there's nothing being done by that.
What can you do to safeguard yourself from that? How do you build up your toughness? Because a lot of times you find yourself in, emotional places sometimes when, you haven't been getting rest or something's going on at home or what have you. How do you build up that toughness?
It takes a lot of practice. It really takes a lot of practice. I'd recommend having teenage daughters. That's great training. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice, but it really starts with understanding your own emotion. So it's understanding that you have complete control over how you feel. What somebody else says or what somebody else says or does has no impact. You're allowing them to dictate how you feel. A mentally tough person says, I understand my emotions. I'm going to control my emotions. I'm not going to allow you to upset me.
And when you make a decision based on emotion, I mean, it's almost always wrong. When you have a confrontation with someone or someone tries to have a confrontation with you, when you react rather than respond, it always goes awry, right?
EQ, yeah, we say EQ and IQ, they're inversely related. So as you become more emotional, you become less logical and vice versa. So I refer to it as getting drunk in emotion. Once you become so emotional, logic goes out the window.
Right.
It's done, it's over with. So in a business situation or a work situation, people end up creating major issues because they allowed the emotions to get the best of them. A day later, they sit down and are like, oh my goodness, why did I say that? It's too late, unfortunately.
So what can people do? I mean, you're getting a heated conversation, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's a coworker, a child. I mean, what's the best way to kind of deal with difficult people?
Yeah, it's unfortunately, we call it systematic desensitization. They're a big couple words, don't ask me to spell them. Systematically, you have to desensitize yourself to this. So it's really putting yourself in those situations where you learn to deal with these issues. So you learn ways internally to understand your triggers mainly. Okay, I know what's going to trigger me. So the minute something triggers me, I have to understand I have an emotional response here. If you understand you're getting emotional, you can react accordingly. It's when you don't understand you're getting emotional. Facebook, social media is a prime example. You get on social media, 5 minutes later, you're angry at the world. Why? Because subconsciously you're reading these things that annoy you. You're now emotional. The next person you meet is going to take the brunt end of that.
Right.
Prime example.
Yeah.
We like to deal with the social media trolls. We get lots of
They're our favorite.
Yeah,
is it, is it breathing exercises? Is it, taking a walk or saying a prayer? What is it?
Mixed martial arts. Yeah.
Mixed martial arts. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. No, again, it's just understanding that you have control over how you feel. And that's really the most important piece of this. You have control over how you react to situations. People are going to poke, they're going to prod. Social media trolls, that's what they're trying to do. I was on Fox and Friends last week. I got tons of hate mail afterwards for no reason. These people are just poking and prodding at me. I'm not going to feed into it. A mentally tough person understands, you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs. Have a nice day.
That's when you know you've made it, when you get hate mail.
I love hate mail.
Yeah.
My kids feel so bad for them. I'm like, I love it. This is funny. I'm just scrolling. Look at this one. They said I look like a lady eating a cucumber sandwich. I'm like, that's great. Is that all you got? Come on.
And we were joking during the commercial. I was saying I have about 3 friends that I hang out with outside of work. And it's okay to set those boundaries. And if somebody sucks all the energy out of you, purge them.
And you
okay,
absolutely should, and that's the key here too. Separating yourself from somebody on a personal level is pretty easy to do.
Right.
I don't like your beliefs on social media. Have a nice day. Unlike in business life, it's a little more difficult than that. So in business life, you have to really make a conscious effort to understand what it is that's stoking your emotion with this person and keeping that in check. Again, they have no control over you. Let them be miserable. That's their idea. If they want to do it, that's fine. In business life, it's difficult to do, and it does require a lot of practice. And that's why you don't see a lot of mentally tough people. It's difficult to to do. It's easy to fly off the handle.
Yeah.
I got some mentally tough ladies over here, though, that's for sure.
You do. I got to tell you, we look good on set. Don't we? Our color coordinator. I
this
love
is
that. I
good,
tell you,
I
I can
know.
stay here for 2 hours. I love this. This is
know,
great.
you should.
I heard you have snakes, though. I read about the snakes this morning. Is that true? Do you guys have
Oh,
snakes
well,
outside?
in Florida, there are snakes everywhere. So there was a black snake visiting us.
And you
outside
named
our
him.
window.
Oh.
Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Ken, that's great.
Yes,
Now you
it's-
named them. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it makes them less scary.
Gotta be tough. Gotta
Watch
be
that
tough,
show. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All right, here's what we like to do this time of day.
Yes.
We like to take a look outside the window from our beach cam.
helps us.
Doesn't that feel good? That helps us deal and decompress.
About
Lots of blue
9:40 's gonna